Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how you can't trust the narcissist. So let's jump in. The narcissist, if you leave them home at your house, let's say you start a relationship with somebody, you think you know them, but you really didn't until later, that they were what they are. When you're gone, they're going to be looking through all your stuff. They don't believe in boundaries, so that's one of the things they feel is something that they're allowed to do. They give you no boundaries. I say they always have all the boundaries with you, because they get you to a point to where you can't ask them any questions. You can't accuse them of anything, even when it's deservable. You can't bring up a situation that you want to talk through with them you don't understand, and it's probably leading up to them getting caught lying to you or cheating on you. They rage out on you at the first time that you will give them some sort of constructive criticism, or if you have a discrepancy with something and you want to go over it because you have a misunderstanding, you want to catch up with a little bit of understanding of what they know or whatever. They like rage out on you or give you silent treatment, make your whole day hell. Part of that is so that you never do it again. If I raged out on you, or any time that you came to me with any kind of questioning and I raged out on you, you're just not going to ask me anymore. You're going to avoid it at all costs. Somebody with healthy boundaries, they would leave before it got too serious. Because the narcissist, they can't keep the mask on for long. Really, unless they're seeing you part-time, they don't have long-distance relationships, because that's typically a narcissist. If they're out of town, you met them online and they're from some other city, narcissists will get on dating sites one city over so that nobody in that city knows them. And it'll be far enough away to where they'll have a great excuse to see you as secondary or tertiary supply, typically tertiary. And they have an excuse. It's too far away. I got to do the things I got to do this week, and then maybe I'll see you. Basically, they're all walled up with you. You get to a point where you get trained to where you don't accuse them or question them or give them any kind of constructive criticism, because they're just going to flip out on you. And so that's one of the tactics they play. But like I said, if you have boundaries, you would leave, because they can't keep the mask on for more than a few months unless you're out of town when you're seeing them part-time. If you're seeing them part-time and you're out of town, they can play off the narcissist gig without you knowing for years if you see them once a week. It's fun for them, and it's fun for you in a sense. You don't live the everyday life with them. You're just seeing them on occasion. And when somebody does that and they all their stock into that, meaning like, this is what I'm doing, this is my boo, you know, and then you decide to go forth with a marriage from that, you'll find yourself real quick, you're going to be in big trouble, because when you live with a narcissist and you're an empath, you ain't going to be able to not know who they are real quick. That's the thing. Living with the narcissist tells you within days of how bad they are. But when you're dating them, that's why if you want to be with somebody in a relationship, you want to date them for, I always say, the minimum 2 years before you get married, minimum. And you want to see them several days out of the week, so that before you commit to some sort of marriage, there's no faking in it, because you've vetted them out for any fakery. I mean, time shows a lot when you spend a long time with them. That's why the narcissist can only stay with you several months, and then they'll break up with you. Not only because they drain you and it's not fun for them and they have fear of missing out, FOMO, but they also need supply. And when they drain you, they gotta go somewhere else and get it from somebody else, and they don't have time messing around with giving you excuses all the time so they can leave. Unless, like I said, you have no boundaries. And that's what happens in a situation where somebody that has dated a narcissist from far away and then they end up marrying them, they usually will find out that they're a narcissist or there's something wrong with them, and they just get to a point to where they have zero boundaries. And that's where the narcissist will take you. The longer you're with them, they will get you to give them every out, because you just get tired of dealing with it. You'll know their character, you know who they are. At that point, you really should be setting your ducks up in a row to get the heck out of there, though. Because if you're not happy and you're not being treated right, you're being abused and you're being mistreated, then you need to find your way out. But they have all kind of boundaries and walls up for them. You know, you tell them everything about your history, your current, and your future, and it's all the truth. And then you get all lies about theirs, and it's like pulling teeth. And you get these little, what I call metadata, these little pieces of information. None of it adds up. None of it can be put into a linear type platform where you can make sense of it all. It's just a piece here, a piece there, and a piece there. And it doesn't make sense if you did put it together, because it's not even them. It's somebody else. It's all other people's histories, stories, and things that they've been through, or ways they were abused and narcissists took them for themselves. But yeah, when you're gone, they will be looking and searching through all of your drawers and bills, anything. They'll be always looking through everything to see what they can find. Sometimes they'll steal things, and sometimes when they really want to gaslight you, they will just do things like hide some of your stuff or hide some things and then ask you to go get it, and it won't be in the place that it was supposed to be. And you put it there, and you'll question them about it, and they'll say they don't know what you're talking about. Are you crazy? Everything that the narcissist does makes you second guess yourself and second guess your memory. And this all leads to you looking to them for validation and looking to them for instruction. Then when you break up with a narcissist, a lot of times you'll get online and you'll find a so-called self-aware narcissist to get information and go into the abuser for information. And if you notice, a lot of the self-aware narcissists that say that they've recovered, although they talk about nothing spiritual, they always talk about all these situations like it's funny, or it was a game or a joke to them still. And I have a hard time with that. It's one of those things that even in the family life, you'll find that whoever the narcissist is in the family, you will have no privacy. They won't give you any privacy. They're always going to be in your business because they have to control you. And if they could have cameras on you, they would. And in fact, these days they do. But narcissists, they don't put any work in. They always use you, and they become you as well. So when they're looking through your stuff, you're trying to get the mindset of who you are. Because when they want to become you, for them not to get reaping what they sow, and they're wearing your energy and your fuel, they also have to mimic you. It helps if they mimic you, because then it even looks like you and it works better. So that's why they copy the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you shake your head, the way you sound, all of it. I know it's creepy and I know it sounds hard to believe, but that's the truth. And if they can get in your mind as far as looking through your stuff and find out how your mind thinks, then they will know how to think when they're walking in your energy. And these are things that make them more liquid, have more power and control over whatever target they're using with your fuel to take down. A lot of times you tell them everything. And the thing is a lot of times you think that the narcissist knows everything. How did they know so much? Or how could they be so good at what they did to you? Well, you came into the relationship and you were truthful with them, and you were in it for trying to understand them, trying to see if this could be a partner in your life. And they came into the relationship a complete lie, knowing they're a complete lie, never telling the truth, and knowing that they're going to use, abuse, mistreat, and be a wolf in sheep's clothing to use everything against you and destroy you. So it also keeps them disconnected when they know that. I mean, even though they don't have feeling and they don't have good emotions, they don't have any of the fruits of the spirit, so they're not going to get connected to you anyway. They pretty much link up. And that's what you'll hear people say. Let's link up. It's not let's get together. You'll hear it in the world, because linking up is kind of like latching on. That's what narcissists do. How they see us is in some ways animalistic, like we are herded cattle, but then also we're a lower class servant to them, and we're here to take care of them. But really, that's what they are. They're really herds of cattle, because they all act the same, and there's nothing innately in them. They're just a copy of you. They're the copy, and you're the only one. These are things that they miss when you're gone, because they walked in your energy and your fuel, and they know how good it is, and they know how powerful it was when they were using it. So later on down the road, when they don't have the ability, because that's why they keep coming back to you if you let them, but it's a covenant that you made with them. Because of that, you got to reap a bad harvest. But when you leave them and you figure this out and you decide that you're wanting to heal from this, and you know who they are, you know they're evil, and you know you got to get away from them. So you go no contact and you shut them down, you delete everything, you get rid of everything, unless it's something you need for evidence for something in the future. When you do that, you're breaking the covenant both in the physical and the spiritual. And I would say more in the spiritual first. When you do that, and when you break spiritual ties with something that's been heavy in control of you, that's why you have that addiction as well. I mean, I know it's an endocrine addiction, but it's also a spiritual attachment, and spiritual attachments are heavy because they become strongholds. because they mess with not only what's out here, but they mess with what's in here. And the whole time that you're with them, they are getting you to doubt yourself, gaslighting you, and getting you to look to them for answers. Look to them for information, and look to them for some sort of judgment, helping judgment as far as confiding in them. And then what they're going to do is they're going to give you all the wrong answers, all the wrong information, and all the wrong type of information, because they're out to sidetrack you and they want to keep you down. So they're never going to give you sound information and confidence. And it's never going to be confidential, because they're going to spread anything they can about you that's personal. They're going to manipulate it. It's along the lines of whatever you told them, but in an evil or negative way, how you either abuse them, use them, or you're misleading and misjudging out here, doing whatever you're doing, giving you false character, false bad character. And all of these things are what break you down and lead you to this anxiety and depression, and sometimes paranoia, when you find out who they are and what's inside them. In the initial, you kind of have to rethink everything. Your friends, your relatives, it goes deep. This runs deep all the way back to your birth. You were targeted at birth. It wasn't from this narcissist. When you shed other narcissists in your life, even if you didn't know any better, you just didn't find out their character and didn't like them, you were overly helpful to them, and at some point you let them go. The enemy is going to send out somebody else, and it's going to be a stronger one. It's going to have a different mask, one more fitted to you. So you see, the narcissist is what data mines you when they come into your life, because they are getting to a level of the intimate partner. So they got to data mine you real good and get it just right. But that's really the enemy inside them. That's in full control of them. And that's the one that fixes the mask and tells them what to do and how to do it. But when you are not, say, dating anybody, not with somebody in a relationship, then the enemy has to send like frenemies and coworkers and people like that to try to data mine you and find out what they can, so that they can form the next mask, or form it through friendships and in the relatives to take you down that way. Because if you refuse to date anybody, the enemy can send somebody into love partner type category. I mean, they will try, but it's something that you have to agree to. Everything is up to you. That's why in this world, the enemy, he gives you options. A lot of options isn't good, because it can mess you up. Too many options isn't good. It'll mess you up and it'll be costly. To where if you just had a few options, it would be easier to choose. But in the many options are the many ways and levels of evil. If they can't get you to get somebody real evil, or you see through that, then they got to send somebody not as evil and go from there. Best the enemy could do to convince you, and the strongest one he could send out to you. But it's almost like it has to come in levels, though. So that's what I got for you today. If you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up. Love you all. Till next time. Peace. We out.